Hello, I'm Cassie and welcome back to my allotment journey. It's another rainy day here in North Wales, so I'm going to be spending the next couple of hours once again in my greenhouse, or rather my two greenhouses. I've got this lovely one which was kind of a retirement present to myself. It's a nice rhino greenhouse. But I've also got the original greenhouse that was on this space and had been the 20 years that we've lived here, and was completely neglected and abandoned until 2020. And at which point I tried to clear all the ivy that had clambered all over it and grown into it. And I finally got to the end of the job, went to bed that night and I heard a big crash. And of course, the ivy had been holding up the old greenhouse, which was glass and had crashed completely. So we moved the frame aside to another spot in the garden where we thought we would eventually get rid of it. And then we gradually acquired panes of glass through Facebook Marketplace and rebuilt it. And it now stands next to the shed, which was just an entirely accidental placing and probably the only other place it could have stood in the garden. And in fact, one of the things I'm going to do there is start my dahlias off when they arrive in the next few days. For now, I'm going to take you over there and show you what I've been doing. Before I do though, let's just have a look at how my lovely paperwhites are doing. They're coming into bloom. So happy. And the little daffodils as well in the pot are also coming into bloom. So that's so lovely. So I'm just going to go across to the other side of the garden to go into the old greenhouse. Oh, how lovely, look. Primroses. Oh, how lovely. They kind of sneak up every year. Always catch me by surprise. But look, they're coming to bloom and I didn't even notice they were there before. How lovely. What else have we got? I can see some borage over there. Borage blooming. Right, let's go up the garden path. I really should have cut this mint back. How are my bulbs doing? I put quite a lot of bulbs in here. It does need a good weed, but I can see some bulbs coming up. I have to be honest, not as many as I hoped. Oh, this is the interesting thing. I've still got straw flowers from last season in the garden. Some bulbs over there, that's good. Now we do have a path lined with bluebells that bloom in May. But that's a long way off yet, isn't it? So what have we got in here? This is I'm warning it, a very, very messy greenhouse. So I've got some potatoes here chitting. I'll be doing a bit more about potatoes in another video. It's another potato day on Saturday. These are some seed snails. So this is what I'm going to be doing today, is some more seed snails. And you may have seen some of these and some of you may not have seen these before. But I'm thinking it's a great way, particularly for flowers, to get them growing. And it involves laying out some packaging material of some sort. I mean, in this case it's bubble wrap, but it doesn't have to be. Spreading the compost along it, rolling it up and then putting the seeds in the spiral at the top. And what that does is it means you can pack a lot of seeds into a small space, but it also means that you've got a lot of space for root growth. And in fact, you've got like root growth trainers here. And if you're anything like me, flowers get sort of shoved to the bottom of the list of things that you need to plant out, and you're never quite sure where you want to plant them. So it's quite nice to have plenty of breathing space for growing them on, and they can stay a long time in these. Now, I have to confess, I'm slightly embarrassed to confess this, but let's have a look just over here. Again, in my very messy greenhouse. Oh, that's actually rooted down there. So I sowed some marigolds last year I did other things as well and sowed them out, but these marigolds, poor things, somehow they stayed in the seed snail, and they stayed in them all the time, and they bloomed beautifully. And you see I've got lots of marigold seeds now. Oh, I've also got a moth that just flew up. Do you see? Oh, interesting. They stayed in there all year. They did okay. I mean, they didn't do as well as they would have done in the ground, I presume, but they did okay. And that's not the point, is to leave them in there, but I just wanted to show you how good that is. Now, I think I stuck these on top of a flower pot, and I think they've rooted into there as well. So it's not all seed snail, but it just gives you an idea of how well things will grow in them. The idea is, though, that you do eventually plant them out. Now here also, this is looking slightly less than healthy, but this is some parsley, which again I left in the seed snail. And it probably come back to life again. It has its last 2 years parsley, so I might get around to planting that out this year. It takes me that long. But there we go, seed snails. Let's go and see how they put them together. So I'm going to get going on sowing some seed snails for my flowers. My February sown flowers. That's a mouthful. February sown flowers. So and so I've got some Aquilegia, 3 different sorts. So I might just mix them up together. I have got some foxgloves. Now, some of my foxgloves, like actually this one, which is a favourite one I've had for a couple of years, I really ought to sow because I really want to grow it. It's a Sutton's apricot one. But it says to sow in April. Of course, when it gets to April, everything's really busy. But these foxgloves say to sow indoors from February. So I think I'm going to give it a go and sow it in February. Live dangerously. And then I've got some Thunbergia, which are orange ones. Then interestingly, I've got some red hot pokers. I mean, I don't think I'd have necessarily chosen to buy them, but then having got them in the advent calendar, I think, why not? Wouldn't have occurred to me to grow them. Now, this packet of cosmos, which I got amazing cosmos from last year, says February, so that's going to go in as well. I've got some penstemon, which looks beautiful, some echium, and some ageratum. And this is just my February lot, or the remains of my February lot. So goodness knows where I'm going to be up to by the end of the year. Buried in flowers, I should think. Oh, that doesn't sound so good, does it? That sounds like a funeral. Anyway, let's get going, shall we? So the first thing I need to do is to get the thing that you wrap them in. In this case, my case, bubble wrap. Although I have also got some other packaging wrap that I might use if this size and shape of these isn't right. This is all packaging material I saved from Christmas, you know, when parcels arrive and that. So I'll put it down and see what we've got. Right, absolutely perfect. So what I found was, when I was doing the last lot, that first of all I thought, well, I'm going to have to keep to the size of the tray, the table here, but that isn't the case. And actually, working with a bit longer than that works better, and you can kind of do the first part, roll it up, and then do the rest. So I'll show you what I mean. So this, yeah, slightly more than half the size that I'm working with, and I think I can get 3 lots out of this. It's very economical. Now, if I was sowing peas or beans in this, which you can equally do as well, I'd probably cut this a bit longer. But because I'm just doing some flowers, I think they'll be okay in this height. Now, the height is obviously this. That's the height that you're going to have. Okay, so that's 3 done. And it does go a bit thin there, but anyway, it'll be fine. So what I think I will do is cut. I've got 11, I'm being ambitious, I've got 11 lots of seeds. Now, I've got a theory, this is going to take me a lot less time than it would do if I was sowing them in trays. So I'll speed this up or come back to you in a bit when I've got my 11 pieces. 8, 9, 10. Right, that's actually 12. Although I do think that one of them was a bit ropey, so when I come to that, I might skip it. So that was pretty quick, actually. Right, the next thing to do, I think, is to write my labels, and you certainly don't need to watch me do that. So we'll be back with you in a minute. 31. 32. Whoa. 33. So that's 3 pieces of string for each of my seed snails. You could use 2, but belt and braces. Right, put the string aside. I'll be needing that later. In fact, I'll put it over there for now. Okay, so we've got the labels all done. Where shall I put them safely? In here, I think. Oh, we've got a bit smudged already. That's not so good. Right, put the seeds somewhere dry-ish. Over there. Rightly or wrongly, I'm doing it the smooth side is where the soil's going. So this is a bit narrower, this end. So I'm going to have that as the inside bit. And then all I do, so I've got this seed compost, which I'm finding is very fine and has very few bits in it. So that's great. And I'm just literally plonking the soil, or the compost rather, up the middle-ish of the plastic. Smooth it out a little bit. Maybe do with a smidgen more there. Okay, I'm going to roll that. And I've not done it to the edges in the hope that it doesn't all come pouring out. I mean, some will. It is a little bit of a messy job. Right, I'm rolling that until I get all of the plastic onto the table. A bit lumpy there, so there we go. And another couple of trowels should have us done. So I'm reckoning that this is about as much compost as I would put into a standard seed tray. Maybe it's a bit less actually, once by the time you've padded it all down. But it takes up a heck of a lot less space, and the seeds have got a lot more room for their roots to grow. Right, 3 of these. Now, actually, when I was doing it last time, I got into the habit of putting the string out before I did the rolling, but I think we're good to go here. So yeah, there. Okay, 1 seed snail, which I'm now going to just put in the tray I've got behind me and do the next one. And I've just remembered that really it might have been a good idea to put some water in the compost before rolling it up, just a little bit. So I'm going to do that now. So some of you may be wondering how long I cut string. And the answer, of course, is how long is a piece of string? I just had to get that one in. So I think you've got the gist of that. So I'll carry on and do the rest of them and then come back to you when I have. Now, although it's fine to have some of the top bits sticking up, if they're too long, it does make it a bit difficult to sew. So it can be quite good to keep the water in, but you don't want it too much that you can't actually sew them. So I'm going to give them a bit of a haircut, just to get a bit more even at the top and to give a bit more access for sowing the seeds. Let's get, that's still looking too high for me. Come back to that one. Now let's have a look. Oh, there's hardly any left in the, do you know, what the heck, the lot. So that's all gone. Right, what I do when I use up a packet of seeds, because I still keep the seed packet, but is I just write on it empty, so that I don't go looking for more seeds or thinking I've got more seeds. Actually, that's not very easy to read there, is it? There. And then I save that and put it in my folder. Right, that's that one. And I shall mix them with this one. I feel like they, yeah, these are just directly. Don't want to come out of the packet. And then what I'm going to do is work my way around there, I think. I'm glad I did the two together actually, because I think that would have been a waste. So that's it really for that, other than I'm going to sprinkle some vermiculite over the top as a light covering and then stick the labels in, and then I think one last, and this will have to sort of send the seeds down a little bit as well, I think. One last little trickle of water. And now you've got one seed snail. So I'll carry on and sow the rest of them and see you in a bit. So there we go. For now, I think these are good to go. So before we finish, let's just have a look at how everything else is coming along. So those little dahlia seedlings are romping ahead. They're doing really well. The little seedlings that I transplanted, the aubergine ones, well, they've not flopped or done anything too dramatic in a fit of pique. My chilies, and peppers, I really need to get potted on at some point. Oh, my leeks. Yeah, my leeks are coming along quite well. Still the ones at the back doing better than the other ones. Now I've noticed we've got a couple of, can't really see there, but a couple of the shallots have germinated. I'm not even going to look at the celery, because that's just not going to have done anything yet. No signs of life in the brassicas yet, it's a bit early. Oh, a flopped onion. So I think these onions are starting to look a little bit stronger. And I'm going to have to think of some ways of protecting them really from flopping. But I'm really thinking that's a much better progress, which makes me think I'm going to need to think about moving on those ones as well. Really over and with onions. But the exciting news of the day is that my peas for shoots, woohoo, they have sprouted. So that's great. We shall have some pea shoots soon. And oh, look. Little ladybird. Hello, little ladybird. I hope you're okay. I hope it's not too early for you. And let's just finish with a little look at my lovely paperwhites. Yeah, coming ahead nicely. So that's it from me today. I hope you found that interesting and that you might give seed snails a go.